I talk to brands all the time. They're spending thousands of dollars on Amazon ads, praying it converts, but they don't touch the pricing. It's completely ignored. Instead of throwing more money at ads, you can iterate on pricing and it can actually produce massive gains for the business. Pricing is the highest impact lever that all flows to the bottom line. I've been in the game for 20 years, almost 20 years. So I started selling on Amazon in 2006. Vacuum filters, coffee filters, air filters, and it was the Wild West. So fast forward, right, I founded Skubana. We sold that in 2021. The Prosper Show, we sold that in 2019. And all of these businesses are all about finding problems on the market and solving those problems and helping other people flourish. So after I sold Skubana in 21, I came back into my ecom business and it was under attack. Our P&L was being compressed. So the profit and loss, our profits were getting squeezed, cost per click was going up, and I was doing everything as a data dive user, right? Optimizing listings, trying to find the right PPC agency to work with. And one day, as a neighbor of yours in Florida, I'm staring out my door, looking at a palm tree, and I'm like, I just started questioning things. And the first question was like, well, why do we never change price as Amazon sellers? And what if we change price? And how do I know that I'm actually priced optimally to maximize my intention? So the challenge with all of this is that we question our beliefs, but we are essentially never think to question certain things, and those are blind spots. And so I identified this blind spot, started changing price, and we turned this business around with pricing. And just as that's happening, AI comes out with ChatGPT, and I was like, wow, I can actually crank all of this into machine learning models and have it crank the data with layers and layers and layers of data to find the optimal pricing, just like Uber, just like Airbnb, just like Expedia, but offering this for Amazon private label brands.
Yeah, and so I always think that the smartest people on the planet are the top economists in the world. And the reason that I think that is I took a few economics classes, and it blew me away that like one input can have an impact on, tens of thousands of outputs, right? And so for someone to really understand it, some of those outputs will become worse, some will become better. And pricing is one of those inputs, right? So you're changing the front end pricing that a consumer sees, and it's going to have impacts everywhere on click-through rate and conversion rates, how people interact with your listing, the visibility of your ads. And so, hold on. I've literally helped hundreds of people become millionaires selling on Amazon, and I want you to be next. Check out the free masterclasses below. You need to be there. I'll see you there. How did you figure out how did you originally map it out and figure out where pricing needed to be to optimize it? And I think throughout this conversation, you've got a presentation for everyone watching that is going to really walk us through the logic of optimizing pricing. And I think at the end of it, what's interesting is we can try it ourselves, right? But no human. And this is one of the unlocks, and this is amazing. This is why we're cutting edge, right? Like we're talking about building systems and processes, but AI is able to monitor thousands of things at the same time and see what the impact is and then make the optimal decision. So how did you start to map that out and that logic behind your software?
Well, we started to iterate and change prices. And I was doing this manually with a spreadsheet. And as machine learning models got better and better, I knew that I can do this in a more sophisticated, more advanced way. And they can be smart, and they can be really, really intentful behind the decisions, letting data drive the decisions. There was just too much data overload for me to figure out, well, I'm thinking like a human, right? If this, then this. If my competitor is under 15 cents, then increase by 25 cents. And instead of these like decision trees that are very human-like, I was like, what if we can have a machine automatically doing this that's super complicated, that takes all of these inputs and runs with it? And so this is how we began Prophecy. And I'm going to share my screen right now. So I like to start on this slide here. And I think it's an important slide to start on because most brands on Amazon, they love their acquisition. They love PPC. And don't get me wrong, it's so important. And it's crucial, but the same emphasis is not placed on pricing. And this leads to a ton of missed opportunities. So I talk to brands all the time. They're spending thousands of dollars on Amazon ads, praying it converts, but they don't touch the pricing. It's completely ignored. And pricing is the highest impact lever that all flows to the bottom line. And so what we're talking about today is instead of throwing more money at ads, you can iterate on pricing and it can actually produce massive gains for the business.